Hello officially everyone, and welcome to the event today, which is brought to you by Matchboard in partnership with Centacom. During today's event, we hope to open your eyes to one of the world's fastest growing customer service outsourcing destinations. And you know where I'm talking about, the island paradise of Fiji. The event will run for 1 hour and we'll be kicking off with a case study from Hertz, followed by a fireside chat with Centacom. Centacom, for those of you who don't know, is an Australian-owned global BPO with a large presence in Fiji. Their clients range from small to large across many industries, such as e-commerce, travel, and retail. To conclude the event, we'll have time for audience Q&A. So just think of your questions as we go along and feel free to pop them in the chat room at any time. I'm Sharon Melamed, Managing Director of Matchboard, and I'll shortly introduce our first speaker. Just some quick housekeeping first. We are recording this event. And secondly, if you have internet issues, there's a phone number in the calendar invite with a passcode, and you can dial in with that. Finally, could I just ask you to stay on mute to prevent outside noise for speakers? So now, without further ado, it's my great pleasure to introduce the wonderful Celeste Carunovale. Celeste is Customer Care Lead for the Asia Pacific region at Hertz, which is household brand, which needs no introduction. Celeste is going to present her experience offshoring services to Fiji. Over to you, Celeste.
Thank you, Sharon, and thanks everyone. So I've been in the customer care industry for 30 plus years and have worked for Hertz for the last 17 years. And, you know, through our experience, we've grown our brands. So many of you probably don't know that we have, under the Hertz umbrella, we have Thrifty, Dollar, Ace and FlexiCar as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our journey with Centacom and just sort of the last few months, what we've been through. We named this project internally Project Sunshine for obvious reasons, and also because it was a light that I could see shining through that would help us get through the business and over the next few years, that's for sure. So that beautiful photo there was taken at Buda Marina, so it's not far from our office, and we were having dinner one night and I just looked around and went, oh, sometimes we just forget to look around. So it's a really beautiful little picture there that we took with our success manager and a couple of our trainers, our team leaders. So I want to talk a little bit about why we decided to outsource and what that structure looks like and how and what's changed internally for our team as well in head office. How do we make it work, and the partnership between us and Centacom as well, and finding the right fit. Firstly, our environmental factors that we are going to talk about, and plus I want to just go over our footprint. So I've got Japan, Korea, China, and Melbourne and Christchurch. And what we tried to do was, because of the environmental factors that we were faced with, particularly after post-COVID and the Great Resign, as many people were talking about, we tried to try and keep recruiting internally, or I want to say sort of interstate, which took up quite a bit of time for one of our leads, and 9 months, let's just say, that she was trying to recruit. But in the background, I was working on this potential project, Project Sunshine. So many people who were working in call centres at the time over the last couple of years, and probably still today, have very long wait times. Talk times are out, the experience of staff, they've lost their skill set. So there's been a lot of those sorts of layered things that have come into play. And our internal customer experience, which is our staff, as well as our external customer experience, was highly impacted. Particularly the mental state of a lot of our agents were, overwhelmed with the amount of calls. When you look at a board and you've got 40 calls waiting, it's not very good for the mental state. So we knew we needed to do something, but things do take time, and I put together a business case and got endorsement through the business to move forward with the project. And we wanted to start off really small. We didn't want to start off too big, and I wanted to make sure that the project was kept confidential, and I had a core team that I was working with from the different brands. So we went through a whole discovery piece, spoke to a few BPOs, wanted to make sure that I got along well with that BPO as well as the team. We also didn't want to put our current team under any kind of threat. This was not an exercise to make people redundant. It was more of an exercise to upskill people and to be able to just try and replace those 28 people that we were down at the time. So we did take everything in little steps. We have a lot of complexities in our business and a lot of layers, so there was a lot to consider. I'm not going to go through every single must-haves here, but I do want to highlight a couple of things. I am a very fussy person, and I did, I had so many wants out of the partnership, but I've got some experience with BPOs in Manila, and they've been in our global business for the past 15 years. And with some of the experience with them, I knew what I didn't want and I knew what I wanted. So I wanted a mixed model. I don't want to lock in my forecasts each month and then not being flexible enough to say, well, we've just run a campaign, so we're going to receive another X amount of calls, so I need another X amount of staff members on board. With some of the BPOs, it's very strict. You cannot change that. They'll just charge you overtime, and it's not cost effective for us. The other thing too is that I wanted to be heavily involved in the recruitment and selection of staff, which has been great, hence the reason why I know the team very, very well. And I did want to make sure that we had a mixed business model where we would cost it as an FTE cost, like a full-time equivalent cost, rather than per task that we do. So that to me is really important, because that gives me more control on how we ensure that agent is upskilled and what their quality, that their output is. So we wanted to make sure that we did it on my terms, I guess. You're gonna think that I'm horrible by the end of this. I also didn't want any red tape. No jumping through hoops. I wanted to be able to deal with Anthony and Carol myself, and wanted to make sure that they understood where I was coming from, and I don't have to jump through hoops to get what I want, in a sense, and to make sure that I'm achieving business KPIs. So it's great that I can talk to both of them fairly openly. The other big thing is making sure that when we call the call centre, there's no background noise. At the moment, with some of the BPOs that I speak to, I can hear chickens in the background, which I don't really like. I just feel like that noise just is very distracting for customers, and we all know that Australians prefer to speak to Australians, and in my experience, I feel like sometimes it's a bit of a challenge for our staff who have accents, even that are in our own call centre here. But I think with Manila and the Philippines, people have been burnt quite a bit. So that's just my own opinion, so let's not hold me to account for that. So why I decided to go with Centacom, like I said, was the relationship, and I was dealing with Anthony and Carol directly. They allowed me to get involved with the team. They allowed me to do recruitment and selection. They have a vast experience in travel and tourism. Love the accents of the staff. It's quite neutral, and we have a lot of staff internally that have very similar accents, so I knew that wasn't going to be a problem. I love the way the team really respect each other and their culture. I mean, when I first went there, the way the team welcomed me was absolutely beautiful. So, sorry, what was that? So I know internally as well that Carol and the team do a lot of local training. So there's leadership training, the culture training, all things that happen before our team are trained up. And I know they have a very good retention rate as well. There's just a couple of pictures there of our team that are taking calls, but also the structure of the team at Centacom is something that appeals to me. I've got Grace, who is our success manager, who we talk every day. And there's also internal opportunities as well. So the staff that are all taught how to take calls and manage those calls have got the opportunity to become a senior agent, a team leader, go into the quality assurance. So it's all that internal promotion and progression that's also a standout for me, which I really like. And that suits what I do internally with my team as well, because it's allowed them the opportunity to travel. It's allowed them the opportunity to upskill themselves and go and train new staff. So there's been both learnings on both sides. So I really like how my team in Australia has embraced it. It hasn't been easy because, you know, many of them were threatened that they thought they were going to lose their job, but it's not about that. It's about making sure we have the right people in the right places. Our core team here focus on all our corporate business, and our leisure business is you know, with Fiji and overflow to Fiji as well. Here is just us, you know, making sure that we've ticked all the right boxes, making sure that we're getting the right support, having that dedication of Grace, who's our success manager. She's just been fantastic. Those team leaders. I've also now decided to go with a workforce manager, and we're going to slowly skill that person up, Hakva up, to make sure that he can help us with rostering as well, which is a great help for me. And the quality assurance team, you know, I think it's fantastic that we've got a team over there that are listening in on calls and helping the team with opportunities to sell our products. So we started off in Nandi, and then we are now in Lautoka. We've outgrown the office already, which is nice. We started off with, I was saying to you about the small chunks, so we started off with 10 agents, and now we're up to about 28. And the other really nice thing too is that the team organised for, if they're working late at night, they are organised, transport is all arranged for them to be picked up and dropped off at home. So the safety of the team was also really important, particularly because we are a 24-hour call centre for our FlexiCar brand. So I've spoken a little bit about the staff progression. I'm not going to go into that again. I know I did mention about starting off with just a small chunk of staff and now growing it out to 28. We have a 24-hour call centre there, and that's for our FlexiCar brand. So that's cars by the hour. Soon we'll be moving into non-voice, so that's the chats, but they will be receiving some Salesforce training as well. And I love the fact that we're a real blended model. And that's Katie training there on the bottom, and that's our new office there on the top. We've got 2 training rooms now, which is fantastic that we can choose from. Invest in your training. So it's really important. I feel that if you want this team to be an extension of your own team, you must invest in training. You must, you know, the team. I've got Rachel and Katie both there at the moment. They've been there for almost 6 weeks, and they'll soon be coming home. And that's Katie's second stint, so she's been there twice now. And you know, that's what I was saying about that progression as well. But the training, it's just so important that you make sure that the team really understand what your strategy is as a business, and making sure that, you know, they understand where we need to be and what our KPIs are and all that. So we just see them as an extension of us. Down the bottom there, we've got Rachel training on the FlexiCar brand, and we had to do that remotely at one stage because we were such we needed to we had a sense of urgency to make sure that we got the 24/7 business up and ready straight away. So we started off with the FlexiCar business, then we moved to the Hertz brand after that. So we do a lot of reward and recognition. I know that we want to introduce some incentive programs as well. So we're just sort of balancing out how it's all going and what can we sort of, you know, what will work in Fiji compared to what happens over here. And, you know, it's important to make sure that you know your team. We're able now to have finally, after not being able to do this internally, but now we've reactivated all our morning huddles with the teams. We've been able to have those discussions with our team members. There's a bit more time to breathe now that we've got Fiji as an overflow. It's just, to me, that's fantastic, because, like I said, it was sort of burning out our team with all of the call volumes that were coming through. We do celebrate those little milestones. There's just a picture down there of the two agents who both successfully together in just 2 phone calls were able to achieve 70K plus reservations. So, you know, we made sure that we celebrated that, and I did that just a few weeks ago when I was there. The other good thing is with maintaining the management of it is just to make sure you share the same tools. So we share, you know, we're on Microsoft Teams for any sort of communication, and that happens daily. So if there's any questions or anything like that, we've sort of married up the team with a mentor, and we've got the same tools. So our telephony tools are all the same. And our information forums. So like many people have intranet pages and stuff like that. So we have similar pages. And the other great thing is that each day on our quality call, we're able to quickly select calls randomly with the quality team, and we listen in on calls and we provide feedback and opportunities for the team. So we do this on a daily basis, and we've all got access to the same systems. So some of the achievements we've had, we were on double digits loss call ratio at one stage, and we needed to get it under 5% very, very quickly. So since November, since we went live, we're now, some days we're at 2% loss call ratio, at 1%. If you lose calls, you lose revenue. So it was really important that we got to that very, very quickly. Average speed of answer has also improved immensely, going from like 2-3 minutes down to 30 seconds to 40 seconds. Our answer rates, we average 90% and above. And we also have maintained consistency with our customers, and we've also maintained some strong conversion rates during the whole training and scoping of the business. So the team so far year to date have answered 52,000 calls, and we've recommenced a number of things internally, and that was great on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, where the team in Fiji worked while our team had the day off after so many years. So that was fantastic. We want to move forward to the live chats very soon. Salesforce training is happening this week. The reporting, we're still sort of refining, and we want to add some more of our new brands, some more of our other brands. So that sort of brings me to the end. I mean, there's so much to say, but I have to stop at some stage. But this is our team, and there's Anthony, who has any opportunity to talk to the team and tell them stories, he will. But it's this is our team, and we're really, really proud of where we've come so far since November. Thank you.